I will open the meeting of the Southborough Youth Commission. Today is May 15th. It is 7 p.m. 7:01 p.m. First on the agenda is the minutes for the April 8th meeting. If anyone has any comments. The only thing that I had, Sarah, if you could do the
Yes. Yeah, it's already in there. I did that yesterday.
Thanks.
Also, I did when I sent it in to Janet, I did put the line numbers as suggested by Sam, but for some reason they disappeared in the interim. So I don't know. I'll try it again next time because I think it's easier to review them that way. So
Okay.
I'll keep trying.
It's entirely possible that Janet saved it somehow and thought it was an error, so I can make sure that she knows.
Yeah, you might want to just give her the heads up because it does make it look very busy and she probably is like, oh, what's that?
Any other comments on them? Amendments? I'll need a motion for the minutes.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes of the April 8th Southborough Youth Commission meeting.
Is there a second? Okay.
Yep.
So roll call vote. Sarah Mikas.
Aye.
Laura Chioco.
Aye.
Karen Englam. Karen. And Lauren Ritchie. Aye.
Aye.
So the motion passes. And next is the director's report from Sarah.
All right. Let me find that. All right. So happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Lots going on here in Southborough and also a lot of partnerships with Northborough, which is great. And I included on the director's report the calendar of events that we have going on. Some have passed already and some are coming up. Let's see. Trying to highlight particular things. I know some folks helped out with opening day of baseball. Maybe when we get to the point of talking about outreach on the calendar, unless it's appropriate now, but I'd love to hear any thoughts on it. I know we ran out of cups. So next year we'll make sure we have more cups, but that was very helpful.
And we're not going to borrow the Rex. The Rex department's tent was not adequate.
The rec department's tent? Was that the one that
we
was
didn't use your tent. Yeah, when we got there, and it ended up collapsing and it kind of almost collapsed, and then Laura and Lauren were there and it collapsed.
I wonder who put that up because we didn't ask them to do that, and I don't know how that happened actually, because it's not the rec.
I know when I got there, they're like, "Here's your tent." Yeah, I got there and they're like, "Here's your spot. It's all set up," and the tent was there, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So,
yeah,
it was some woman I didn't expect her. What, Lauren?
Which is nice. It was nice for someone to do that, but
very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I just am confused by that because the opening day is not put on by the rec department, so I'm not sure how they got their hands on that. But anyway, it was nice that they did that because it is a bit of an ordeal to schlep that canopy that we have. It's very heavy, so but good to know for next year. And then I know we ran out of cups, and then I know things were blowing all over the place, I think was the other piece of feedback that I had heard about it. I was thankful that we had good weather because it was supposed to rain originally. So, but regardless, thank you for those of you who were there and who helped out with that. That was very helpful. We also were invited to do outreach at the Employee Health Fair this year, which we haven't typically done because it's for employees. However, I I think the thinking was that we do a lot of prevention work and workshops and speakers and whatnot, and that maybe employees would be interested in going to that. So, so we did that for the first time. I'm not sure it yielded too much interest, so we'll consider it again in the future to see if it makes sense. But we were grateful for that opportunity. We're continuing to plug along with the community needs assessment. Now, I feel like I've said that the last few times I've seen you guys, but truly are trying to transition to the survey now. We may have enough money in our budget actually to do a town-wide mailer of a flyer. Can you guys still hear me and see me?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
I just got a message saying your internet is unstable, so but hopefully we can make that happen so that we can actually ensure that every resident, every household in town will get a, you know, a postcard with information about how to access the survey online, or if they prefer, how to get a hard copy. So, hi, Susan.
Hello. It wasn't letting me in before. I'm sorry. Kept saying
Oh,
invalid number and it wasn't.
oh, weird.
I'm here.
We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Let's see. We're sadly saying goodbye in the near future to Elizabeth Niquette, who's been our intern, our first ever paid intern. She's been wonderful. So she's finishing up her internship in the next couple of weeks, and we will be ushering in right behind her. Actually, we have some overlap. We have 2 interns that are going to be working with us. Friends of the Southborough Youth Commission has agreed to pay a stipend for a second intern, which is great, because the 2 women we are bringing on are just awesome. We're very excited, and we already have a bunch of opportunities lined up for them. But one of them, Delaney, she actually starts, her first week is the same week that Elizabeth is finishing up. So they'll both be with us for that short period of time. So it'll be a little tight over at our office, but we've got it worked out where everybody will have a workspace available, and the more the merrier. For Mental Health Awareness Month, just some upcoming dates that I think are valuable to promote. I am providing an info session. I think you guys might remember, I have a whole menu of info sessions that I offer on various mental health topics. And being that the theme of Mental Health Awareness Month this year is togetherness, I am doing the value of validation at the library. So that's happening on the 20th, which is next Tuesday. There's an excellent webinar on digital wellness, specifically geared towards parents and knowing how much screen time is too much screen time, when to get your child a phone, what kinds of social media apps kids are using. This is put on, I'm not going to get it right, but by an outside agency that has to do with Harvard University. And we're excited about that. So that's on May 21st, the very next night. And that's a webinar, so it's online. We've got quite a few people registered for that. We have a couple of things happening with recreation. Family yoga in the park is this weekend. And then there's a Mom's Night Out collage event that we're co-sponsoring with recreation. And then, you know, to sort of top everything off, Celebrate Wellness is on the 28th, where we'll present the LSW Wellness Award, Laurie Sugarman Whittier Wellness Award to first grade teacher Julianne Topliff, as you guys are aware. Julianne was extremely touched that she was even considered a nominee, and is very grateful for you know, people's positive feedback and to be honored in this way. So she plans to attend, and I would imagine there'd be quite a few people who will come to congratulate her that evening. We are making Celebrate Wellness an abbreviated version of the typical event. So it's just going to be an hour-long event. We aren't doing an art show this year. We're going to have live music, refreshments, and the presentation of the award. We'll get some flowers for our nominees. We'll have some information about who else was nominated. Short and sweet. That's our plan for this year. So that's coming up on May 28th at the community house. Tomorrow night, Dylan, I'm in the middle of talking. Oh, he's supposed to be reading his book. Your timer went off maybe 5 minutes ago. Oh, geez. He has to read 20 minutes every night, and he's like, Mom, can I be done? Sorry about that.
6 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow night I'm doing outreach at International Night. That's put on by the Department of Multilingual Learners through the Office of Multilingual Learners through the school department. So we have a lot of great information to bring. I'm going to bring my pocket talk and going to give it a try, see how that goes. I'm excited to give that a whirl. So that's great. And then we're trying to come up with what we can for Pride Month. I think this year we've had a little bit of a hard time hearing back from agencies in the area. So I think we're going to spotlight different agencies locally that families, parents, youth can connect with to learn about their services and get connected with those communities. And we'll highlight and promote some of the good work that they're doing in the month of June. So I believe that summarizes roughly the information in the director's report. I don't know if there's any questions.
No.
Oh,
Sounds
right.
good. Thanks, Sarah.
Mhm.
Next, we have the subject of Youth Commission nominations for the offices for the Youth Commission that would start in June of this year. And we might have to table this and come back to it in June, but we can talk some about it today and see what you think. So Laura, would you like to give an update?
Yeah, so I talked to Lauren and Sarah about this already. So my husband and I decided that we are going to be putting our house on the market in the spring and transitioning out of Southborough. And in talking to both Lauren and Sarah, they both agree that it doesn't make sense for me to step into the chair position, knowing that I'm going to be at some point moving along. So I am going to stay on the board for as long as I'm here in town. But because of that, we don't think it makes sense for me to go onto the chair at this point.
And yeah, please stay on as long as you would like. We love having you on it.
Thank you.
So with that, what we wanted to do tonight was review the position descriptions that were in the package. For some reason, my printer wasn't printing that page. I tried it twice, so I don't have it in front of me, but we wanted to review the positions and then do nominations tonight for an election in June. Yes, Sarah.
I wonder if we need to make any amendments to these job description or position descriptions. I think there might be something in there about performance evaluation, which might look a little different.
On the chair.
Just occurred to me.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So that was one that I had found. In other words, this year, because the appointing body for the youth, for Southborough Youth and Family Services is the select board, Mark Purple will be the person to evaluate, give Sarah her performance review moving forward. And it used to be the chair of the youth commission, so now it's just a little bit of a change, but I can still provide input into the process. So that's one change. I think that was most of the edits that were needed. I don't remember another edit.
Would
I
it
can
be,
probably, what's up?
I was just gonna say, would it be helpful to go through?
Yeah. Do you have it or do you want me to share it?
Oh, I have it. Yeah, I have
Okay.
it. I can, do you want me to screen share?
Yes, please.
Okay, hold on
I'm
one
not
second.
so good at that.
Oh, you have to enable sharing permission.
All right.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I know there were a few words here and there that as long as we're doing it, we could amend, but one of the things that the chair does is facilitates the remote Zoom meetings, and that process is now a smidge more complicated just because they have a new authentication system, two-factor authentication system, and the person's facilitating it probably each time, or hopefully less than each time, but it might be each time, needs to contact the IT department right before it to get the passcode to sign in. So it's kind of fun. But let's see. Sarah, can you make it a little smidge bigger or?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think, so under conducts Southborough Youth and Family Service Director performance evaluation, we can either just remove that line entirely, or I don't think the chair is required to provide feedback, but the chair could be asked to provide feedback on the director to Mark Purple. So we could change that line or remove it. I guess we could just say could be asked.
Yeah, or provides input on SYFS director performance evaluation.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that might not be apparent to people if you're thinking about being being the chair is approving SYFS donation account expenses under 250. So anytime, you know, if I want to buy some coffee to bring over to Colonial Gardens, for example, and use donation account funds for that, that's obviously, I'm not buying $251 worth of coffee, thank goodness, that's a lot of people. In which case I just get in touch with Lauren and ask for her blessing to go ahead and purchase that.
I don't know if it's worth saying on here because all the business should be done with the town's email address, but I know some of our board members do have had, you know, consistent problems being able to get into that address. But I would say that the chair probably needs to have the access and check it frequently, because you could get messages from anyone in town, or the official board business gets done through the Southborough email address. Calls for votes, adheres to agenda topics. We haven't had to approve remote participation during an in-person meeting yet, but that's possible. We also haven't had public comment on the agenda yet for any of the meetings I've been a part of, but there's some responsibilities of the chair just to keep to the meeting requirements. Open meeting law, requirements, uses town email, participates in agenda setting meetings. So what we've been doing is having the chair, vice chair, and Sarah meet with together with Janet about a week before the meeting. We just find a time during the day that is convenient for a half-hour meeting, and determine what the agenda, set the agenda for the week, and then Janet sends it to the town meeting website for posting. That has to be done 48 hours before the, at minimum of 48 hours before the meeting takes place. I know, I was going to say we could either eliminate the participates in monthly meeting with select board liaison, or, give it sort of an iffy if there is a meeting, because currently for the last few years we haven't had a meeting with a liaison. I'm not even sure if one was assigned to us. Do you know?
I don't think so. That I forgot. So in a previous select board composition, there was a select board liaison assigned. We used to meet with Chelsea Malinowski once a month. So maybe it's as simple as saying participate in monthly meeting with select board liaison if applicable, or something like that.
I would take out the monthly. I would just say participates in meeting with select board liaison if necessary or called upon, or
Yeah, well, it's up to the select board whether they actually decide to institute that. So the current composition, we haven't had a liaison, so I think it depends. So maybe
do we want a liaison? Is this something that was found helpful?
I found it helpful, yeah. But again, it was their doing, and not really something that we
Yeah.
had a choice to participate in, really. I think it was beneficial. So maybe it's something more broad, like liaise with select board as needed. Something like that.
Okay. Then the vice chair fills in for the chair if that person is absent, which I guess would mean that on a Zoom meeting, they would also need to know how to facilitate a Zoom meeting, participates in, or we rely on someone like Sarah who also knows how to facilitate a Zoom meeting as well, but for just occasional fill-ins. Participates in an agenda setting meeting and that we just talked about. So you can scroll down. So the secretary takes the notes, types up, sends it to the admin assistant before the meeting so it can be added to the agenda. Sarah, if I'm forgetting anything, just let us know.
Yes.
When the meeting minutes are approved, they get the secretary sends them to the town clerk's meetings address as well. And it has to be within 45 days of posted meeting. And then the minutes, I think there's just a slight tweak in here to probably spell out that the attachment in an do you actually have to submit the attachment of all the documents, Sarah?
No, I just have to list them by name after I've been, like I say, what the packet is called. And then after that, in the notes, I have to list out the individual documents. So this is new to us, which I would be happy to include every time that I post the notes, but I don't think I need to have the attachments separately. I usually just include the packet along with the approved the approved minutes, so.
Okay. Then for all the youth commission members, attend the meetings. I think there's not a lot to add to this. We've gone through this before, reviewing the minutes and the meeting materials before the meeting, occasionally attend meetings as needed. Make sure you comply with open meeting laws and taking the state ethics training yearly. Support programs and activities, which is basically the outreach. Anything else that the director might request from our commission. And again, or we should be using those town email accounts, or probably working with IT to figure out what the issue is. So that's the basic. Oh, sorry, the director. We have the director and the the administrative assistant.
I will say, this one, I mean, if you're really interested, we could consider you taking that. No, I'm just kidding. But I think this is
not
in
up
here.
for nomination.
This part, and this is actually a business administrator now. The position title got changed, but I think this is just in here to sort of highlight the role that we play within the youth commission. Sorry, Lauren, go ahead.
Right. No, I think that's good to have them in here, because we also give this information sheet out to people that are interested in joining our commission. So it just gives an overall picture of how things work and who's doing what. So are there any other suggested adds to this?
I feel like we went through this pretty thoroughly the last time it was revised, so I don't think a whole lot of things have changed, and I thought it was well done the first run, so.
Is there any reason to take a vote on this, or do we just amend as needed? Because it's not really
There weren't many amendments, so I think we can.
I don't know, that's a very official document. Sarah, do you have any?
I mean, I suppose it's always better to do it than not, in case.
Yeah.
The only thing that sort of a major change is about the performance evaluation, and that the select board is now considered the appointing authority versus the youth commission. So maybe
Let's
for
do a
that.
quick vote, just to make sure. So I would make a motion that we amend the positions document as discussed. Is there a second?
Second.
So Sarah Micas,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Karen,
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Lauren is aye. All right. So that motion passes. And so now for nominations. We are missing 2 people, and that's why I wasn't sure if we want to talk about this again in June, and give them the opportunity to self-nominate or be nominated or think about their nominations if they're nominated by someone else. Or we can have a discussion now. What do you guys think?
I was just going to offer, if it's helpful, we can follow up with people. Lauren, I mean, maybe you want to recommend to the board members who are missing to watch tonight's meeting and to review that document long before the next meeting, and that we could even whip together a Google form, or we could just talk with people over email to say, you know, what your interest is. Do you nominate somebody? Are you willing to hold a position yourself? You know, and we could bring that information to the next meeting if that's helpful.
I think that would be helpful. I just want to make sure that we don't aren't conducting business outside of the meeting.
Right, that's why I was offering to have it come to our department and that we just make it part of the meeting packet. So it would just be individually, people could, so I don't know, I don't. I guess that could be problematic. Yeah, perhaps not.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we could reach out and say, as you suggested, please read this document
Mhm.
and watch the meeting minutes and, think about whether you want to self-nominate or nominate someone, and then have that meeting in June. I think that might be the best approach since we're missing a couple of key players here.
Can we hear from current members of what their position is? Or like, are people interested in staying on? Like, I guess Sarah and Lauren both hold positions. I would like to hear if they're interested or if we should be searching first. I mean,
Yeah, good. That makes sense.
Okay.
Sarah?
I will probably, I prefer to stay on as secretary, than take on a different responsibility because I know this one.
Well, that's great. That's good to know because then if no one else has an
Yeah.
interest to take on secretary, why fix what is not broken? So
Right. Karen, do you have, and Susan, do you have interests in self-nominating or nominating someone?
Well, I'm a good helper, but I'm not a good leader. And I would be more than happy to, like do maybe the vice chair if no one else wants it. Maybe I can learn from being closely attached to somebody, if that makes any sense. I mean, the only reason I say that is because I see, like Karen, obviously, she's leadership quality person, and I don't know if she's interested in any of this, but I don't want to say, I don't know, I'm just not, I'm a good leader, I'm a good helper and a good follower, but I'm not a good leader, so I wish I was.
Or, yeah, you're a solid member of this committee, this commission, so I hear you though. And facilitating these Zoom meetings is not for the faint-hearted, as far as just logging on. Karen?
I would do that, but I kind of thought at one point we thought it was a conflict of interest for me to be chair of this and Friends as well. So I don't know how people feel, but I don't.
Yeah. My personal thought is that it's probably not the best idea, and it would also stretch you a lot. But what, anyone else have a different opinion on that? Or Karen, do you have a different opinion on that? Do you?
I think it would be nice to not be the chair of both, just because, I mean, regardless of time, it's just I don't want to be the sole driver between, and running all the meetings. I have to run the Friends meetings. So, but I also, that being said, I don't want you to be forced into a position. And if Susan doesn't feel comfortable, I'm totally happy to take on chair for a year or so. I kind of know how it's run, and I don't want you to stay on longer than you are willing to, Lauren. So if you want to step down, I'm happy to do it till someone is ready to step up. So it's whatever you guys need.
All right, that makes sense. So as far as my thoughts on this, I definitely want to stay on the commission. And I can stay as chair or vice chair, or I do think that I've been on it for 5 years now or something as chair, and I feel like it's probably time for new blood. And just and to give other people the opportunity to have the leadership roles as well, whether it's chair or vice chair. So I think I think I would suggest that we do bring this to the next meeting and see if Nancy or Melissa have a
I would like to nominate Melissa. I
Okay.
would like to nominate Melissa if she's willing to. I think she would be an excellent chair.
Chair, yeah.
But yeah,
I was
if she's willing, so.
See, this is what happens when you don't come to the meeting.
Well, no, I don't mean that.
You're now the chair. Just teasing, I'm teasing.
Well, I think we could handle it this way. We could reach out and tell her that she had been nominated and to think about it and to, let us know at the June meeting whether that is something that she would like to, be throw their hat. I think anyone who throws their hat into this race is going to get it.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's
just
not-
knowing her, I mean, I've worked with her like in the capacity of her
Yes.
St. Anne's in church, and she's very organized and very, I think, passionate about it. And so I think she might not nominate herself and because she might feel like she's too new, but she's totally capable of taking on this position. So if we tell her that she was nominated, maybe she will accept. I mean, we don't want to put a lot
Yeah.
of pressure on her, but I don't think she would have just volunteered herself to. So maybe
No.
she
But
would accept
actually,
that.
I was thinking of nominating her myself. So I think that would be great.
Her experience with,
Yeah.
she seems to be involved in a lot of town activities, and she seems very organized and probably knows open meeting law stuff and how to manage a Zoom meeting and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. So
And the farther I get away from Zoom meetings, the happier I am. So that
I'm
would
with
be
you.
great. Is there a nomination then for secretary or self-nomination? So officially, I would nominate Sarah Micas.
A second.
Okay. And for vice chair, do we want to go there?
I nominate Susan as vice chair.
Okay.
That sounds great. All right, so we have do we have to vote on this or is this just nominations? These are just
I think
nominations,
vote
anyone
next
can
week.
nominate, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
We-
So, yes.
Nancy is also somebody that she's, I think, continuing on, so I don't know about her own personal interest. Maybe she was interested in a position also, so
Okay,
I think that would be valuable for them to watch the meeting and then weigh in and vote next time.
that sounds good. So we have some nominations thrown out there. Maybe we can have just an official round of nominations in June and have the election. So I think that wraps that up. Then the request to the personnel board update that we sent, we had followed up with a letter, an email to Jason Melanowski, and also followed up as we had decided in our last meeting with a email to the select board as well. Since then, the personnel board met in May. Was it May or April? I think it was just last week. Time is getting by me. And they discussed what to do. Apparently there's I think they described it as kind of not only is there a line, but it's kind of around the corner and down the street now for people requesting or having boards request evaluation of individual employees' salaries. So they don't want to look at individuals, but they would like the input of the affected individuals. I'd say that they've had our input as well, but I think Sarah can meet individually with the personnel board as requested to provide additional thoughts on the process or the needs. And they'll take that into consideration. It sounded like there's not a lot that they can do budget wise, because the next town meeting in the fall will be after the budget is already set, I believe. Does that make sense? Did I understand that right, Laura and
Yeah.
Sarah? Yeah. So it does, Laura, you were on that, Laura and I both were on the Zoom audience for that meeting. Is there anything you'd like to add, Laura?
No, my takeaway from it was, one, I was happy to see that they were not trying to sweep it under the rug. Like, they were very much seemed motivated to find a solution to the problem. But that the solution was not immediately apparent to any of them, was the takeaway, was that it was going to take some time on their end to kind of suss out what they needed to do. But I did feel like it was hopeful, and that that they were committed to finding a solution for those affected people.
Right, and they recognize the importance.
Yes.
They definitely did.
Right, and the risk that they ran of, excuse me, of losing people, which they don't want to see happen.
Right. Does anyone have any additional comments or questions on that?
So what was the follow-up going to be from our end, if any?
I don't believe in anyone can comment that this is not the way forward, but my impression was that we've kind of already made our comments and made our suggestions as a commission, but that individual employees, they did seek out the discussion with individual affected employees.
All right.
But if there's additional support that we can provide, I know we would be very happy to do that.
We'll come sit with you in the outside room.
Right.
No, I think that would be helpful. You know, unfortunately, I think the conversation goes a little differently when it's just employees speaking on our own behalf than
Okay.
if we have some additional representation and support. So I'll keep you guys posted. I did reach out to Mark Purple and Jason Malinowski about the opportunity to connect with them on this. And I haven't yet heard back, but it's been a busy time. So.
Right. I think they said that they'd like to hear back within 2 weeks after the meeting. So I know they were looking for some quick turnaround of input. All right, outreach, we have International Night that Sarah mentioned, that's tomorrow. I didn't hear back from Janet if anyone signed up.
Lauren, we are all set. Lauren,
Oh,
Lauren
okay.
was very gracious and said, "It's my wedding anniversary, but I'll help if." And I said, "Janet, don't even follow up with Lauren."
All right.
No, I'm totally fine. I don't even know, you know, I've done this event a couple of times. It's been a very well attended event. I don't know if that's going to be the case this time around. So I will make it work. It will go by so quickly because I'll be talking to everybody and we'll be just fine. So thank you for considering it, and there'll be other opportunities right around the corner.
All right. Thank you. Now I can go to dinner.
Yes. And actually, I don't know if this is on here. I know it's appropriate because it's part of this. Oh, there are 2 other things here. But one thing that's not on here is Celebrate Wellness. I know that often we have a board member or 2 come help and do a table with outreach. So I'm not sure if anybody's planning to attend, but that would be.
But is that the
someone that's willing
28th?
to do that.
The 28th
Yes.
of May?
Yep.
I can definitely be there.
Oh,
It's on my calendar to do as well.
And I'll be there from the friend side as well, but yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then we have Early Childhood Education Fair, June 7th coming up.
That is actually now covered.
Okay.
So if anybody wants, it has a particular hankering to go to that, Emily Bordeaux, our program coordinator, is going to attend. I'm sure it is kind of like International Night. It's well attended, and there is a bit of juggling because there's our youngest and smallest Southborough residents are there, and they're you know, as parents trying to have conversations with somebody, it can be a little challenging to have a conversation while keeping track of your child. We will have some materials at the table for kids to play with, but you know, it still can be challenging to keep an eye on things. So
Is that a Saturday, Sarah? June
Yes.
7th.
Yep, it's a Saturday.
Well, if Emily would like some help, you know, that's my kid.
That's your
my
jam?
population, yeah. Really my jam.
All
And I
right.
probably know quite a few of them. So just let her know that I'm willing to come and be her wingman.
All right. I will let her know that. She'll greatly appreciate that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You said the Celebrate Wellness thing was on the 28th? And
Yes.
the same night that you're doing the Community House Awards?
Yep, that is Celebrate Wellness.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I just want to clarify that.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for asking.
And
And
then
then-
lastly, we had the survey phase of the community needs assessment, which
Yes.
Janet sent to all of us, I think.
Yes. So the goal in this next phase of the community needs assessment is volume of participation. So we're doing everything we can think of to get folks to participate. If you could make it a personal goal to fill it out yourselves, you know, you can even ask family members to fill it out, but maybe identify 5 people that you could ask. I mean, that would be immensely helpful. If you want some hard copies of the flyer that we have, we're happy to get those to you. If you want to put them in a neighbor's mailbox or anything like that. But we've done some qualitative data collection with our focus groups and interviews up to this point, and now we're going to be doing more quantitative data collection with our survey. So the more data points we have, the better. So that is a form of outreach we greatly appreciate from you guys. And if you have ideas of other ways that we can get the information out, please let us know.
Sarah, is there a QR code or something that we can carry around? Because
Yeah.
I
Yep.
usually run into people and I can just have them scan it on their phone and
Yeah. So
upload it.
the flyer that will hopefully go at home in the mail to everybody, and the flyer that we're using during our outreach efforts has a QR code right on it. It also has a link if people want to type that in because they're not familiar with using a QR code. And it has our phone number on it so that if people aren't able to do either of those things or prefer to do a hard copy, they can reach out to us and we'll get them a hard copy of the survey.
Great.
And it's also available in the 5 most common languages spoken in
good.
Southborough. So we
Is
have.
there an online version? Like if I wanted to post it on Facebook or something?
Yep. In fact, I think Emily may have posted about it already. If not, she will be soon, but
just share the post.
Yep.
Okay.
Share that post, and what people will find is the very first landing page will direct them to choose their preferred language. So, and then it goes from there. So it's available online in every language. We have hard copies in every language, and then the flyer that we're using to advertise it is available in all those different languages also. So that'll be something that we're giving out tomorrow at International Night. So.
How long will the data collection part of this survey last?
It's flexible right now. You know, we have to finish this whole community needs assessment before the end of the calendar year.
Okay,
Ideally, it will be much earlier than that. But you know, we'll keep at it for as long as we need to until we feel like we've got a good set of data points, I think. But it's kind of touch and go at the moment.
Do you have an estimate on how long it takes to fill out?
It's less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, Emily was very funny. I hope I don't embarrass her by saying this, but she got very, very excited in the office yesterday. She said, someone filled out the survey. She came and told all of us. And then she started to read the answers and she said, oh, wow, this is so interesting. And then she got to the end and realized it was her response that she submitted. She submitted it weeks ago.
I didn't remember.
She forgot that she had, but when she wanted to test how long it took to fill out the survey, so she, you know, gave lengthy answers or, you know, to the ones that were, you know, short answer questions. She forgot all about having done it. So,
But how did she? It's not anonymous.
No, it is anonymous. I think for her, she recognized that it was
her answers.
Oh, she just okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That's funny.
I appreciate her enthusiasm though. She was very excited. Yeah.
I'll fill mine out tonight, so she
Okay,
has
awesome.
been waiting.
Excellent. Excellent.
Hopefully
Thank
it
you
doesn't
so
take
much.
2 weeks for her to get it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
All right, so we have a friends update from Karen.
Yeah, we are celebrating Leslie had enrolled off because she moved to Newburyport. Yes.
Did she?
Yes. So she has been gone for most of the year. So we are trying to do something. I just actually was getting text from her. June 4th, I believe. It's a Wednesday. I know, Sarah, that's not your preferred late night, but as soon as I have details, anyone from the board commission is welcome to join. We're just doing a thank you for her service for so many years. And there's not too much else going on. We'll be helping out with the Celebrate Wellness. We're going to be getting a gift card for Julianne Top Life, yeah. And some refreshments. So we will see you there. And Friends has been a little slow. I think we need a couple new board members, or not board members, they're not board members, but a couple new members because a lot of them, excuse me, are very busy. And so I'm hoping this fall, we kind of usually take the summer off. And I'm hoping this fall we get some more members to get a little more, you know, new blood and some new enthusiasm. So
Karen, I have, excuse me, 2 questions. One is the time frame for the get together for Leslie on June 4th. Do you know?
I mean, we're probably thinking like 5 or something, but what?
Okay, so it would be later in the day. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other question I had was if there was, we often encounter, I mean, today I encountered somebody who said, what can I do to give back? We're so grateful for the support of this department. How can we help? And it would be great to give them something. A while back, we used to have like a Friends recruitment flyer that sort of outlined what Friends does. And I don't know if that's something, you know, but we're happy to have something like that at the office and share that with people when they ask that sort of question. It comes up all the time. So,
Okay, sure.
yeah, so that might help.
Okay, that'd be great. Let me know if, I don't know if we had a flyer still. I think I did post it a couple years ago now, but
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys have something or have somebody there in the group
We work
would
on
be
that.
willing to do that and you want to send it over to us, we'd be happy to share that out.
sure. That'd be great.
Okay.
All right, last is adjournment. I would make a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Southborough Youth Commission at 7:56 p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mike? Laura?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Lauren's aye. So good to see everybody, and we'll see you in June.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Good
We'll
night,
see you at
everybody.
Celebrate Wellness.
Oh yeah, we'll see each
See
other
you
then.
then.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.